All right. There's literally no one to face besides yourself. Let's think about this from a metaphysical perspective. There might be people in your life that you have experienced that have said things to you that fucked you up and made you stressed and anxious and all worried. But just because they say these things to you does not mean that what they're saying is innately true. You are perceiving, and from your perception, that what they are saying is objectively truth in of itself, even though that's just an opinion. There's literally no reason to accept what people are saying as truth, unless of course you have already subconsciously accepted what they said as truth. Now in your case, being somebody who's motivated and ambitious, driven, a man of money, trying to get you a bag, no one's in your way, bro, or my gal. There's nobody in your way from you securing that nice fat paycheck or scaling your business to 7 figures. There's nobody in your way besides yourself. I understand at the beginning stages, or depending on how long you've been in the building phase, things can seem so far away. They can seem so grand to you. But you must always remember, this is just the perception. And how you perceive things is how you experience things. And it really comes down to changing your perception of your desired end to change your current reality. That's all there is to it. Because as you change your perception, you'll not only change the way in which you experience the reality, but more importantly, you're changing yourself. And as you change yourself, you're changing the physiology of your body. You're changing the way in which your biology structures itself. And from those two places, your thoughts begin to change, your ideas begin to change, because thoughts and ideas are a byproduct of what is going on in here and here. Thoughts don't come first, thoughts come second. And this is something that I always got wrong, is that I thought it was thoughts, emotions, and assumptions, but really it's emotions, thoughts, assumptions. And even deeper than that, it's really assumptions, emotions, and thoughts, but I digress, and I don't want to get too off topic with you guys. But the primary point of this download for you is to convey that any obstacle you're experiencing in your business, in your personal life, is a projection of yourself. No one is thinking about you, really, unless it's a loved one or a family member, but even then, there's not much time spent with people thinking about you. It's really just you, yourself, and that's it at the end of the day. So all of these ideas that you have about people perceiving you in a certain way is projected from your own essence. It's from you. It's not from anyone else. And even again, if someone does say things about you and that makes you feel a certain way, it's only because you accept what they say as truth. And if you accept what they say as truth, then sure, it becomes objective reality, but you get to change that shit whenever you want. There's literally nothing stopping you from changing your perception right now. And some would say, well, your belief stops you from changing your perception, but you can change your belief. You can change whatever you want to change about yourself. And sure, the body's going to want to keep you to its old frequency and keep you to the same stories, and it's just going to want to white knuckle you into submission so you don't change. Because the way in which our subconscious mind works is it just holds on to what is known. So when you change your perception, you're changing what the body knows. And when you change what the body knows, it's uncomfortable. Even though what your body is experiencing is painful for your mind. Because your mind has this idea of where you should be and what you want to do in your business. But your body is so used to being capped at a certain income level that it wants to keep you there. So it doesn't matter how much you visualize or script or whatever it is that you're trying to do, nothing's going to change until you change the perception to get there and the perception you have towards yourself. Now, for me personally, when I first got self-employed and started working for myself, the idea of hiring people was so foreign. Thinking about delegating work was also scary, because how can I trust them? I don't know if they're going to do good work like I do. If they fuck up, then I'm gonna have to deal with the consequences. And that just wasn't, my perception towards it was negative. But once I changed my perception through other people's stories and their experiences, I realized not everyone is a bad worker. Not everyone's gonna fuck shit up. If someone else had a good subcontractor or employee, then why can't I? It doesn't make any sense for me to objectively define the world in a negative way entirely too. That's absurd. So when I changed my perception and got out of my own way, I was able to find people who actually did good work. And that gave me the ability to get paid $40 an hour while I wasn't at the job site. And boy, did my life change. It was so... Man, I remember that day when I left the job site after showing them what they needed to do. Wow, bro, that was such a magical moment for me, because I've always seen people on social media building businesses and having people do the work while they actually work on the business, where they can do it anywhere they want in the world. And it really finally dawned on me that I am capable of doing this. I already knew I was capable of doing it, but physically experiencing it, there's always a little bit of a, it was a bit unsure, but I'm experiencing it physically now. And I will say that tends to go away as you develop this inner knowing that what you want to be will come to be. There's always a little bit of an unknown factor to how things are going to unfold, but now in my life, it's just, I know. And I don't doubt, I don't worry, and I don't get in my way anymore. And that's a beautiful feeling to have. But back to my point, what I was saying. As I continued to perceive a reality in which things were working in my favor and things were easy and things were effortless, it began to slowly get better and better and better. And over a period of time, from last year to this year, we did $2 million in revenue, and I was working less than 25 hours a week, making 6 figures a year. And there's a lot more that I'm going to do. So this is just the beginning of my journey. And this is just the beginning of your journey. But I'm using my story, my testimony, as a means for you to understand that the only thing that's in your way is yourself. Like, you have to get out of your own way. You have to change how you perceive the world. You have to change how you perceive possibilities and opportunities to work for you and not against you. There's always going to be a quote unquote level of risk at the end of the day, but with great risk comes great reward. So if you're not willing to risk, then you're not gonna get through the reward. You have to take that leap of faith. And the beautiful thing about this is, since I know you, you're somebody who wants the best. You want there to be integrity. You want there to be honor, because you yourself have integrity, honor, and respect for the people that you serve. So if things do go south, which they will, as that is a law of reality, the ebbs and flows, things go good, things go bad. When things go bad, you're going to take care of it. Furthermore, you're also going to have things set up ahead of time, so when it does go bad, you're already boom, 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 making sure shit is taken care of. You know, part of your belief that's fucking you up is the belief that you don't think you're capable of fixing things. The belief that you're not going to be able to manage things going south. And that belief stops you from getting out of your own way, because you're self-protecting yourself. You're not even allowing yourself to start, because your body is firing the safety mechanism from you experiencing the feeling of fear and worry and anxiety. But that in of itself is also perpetuating the fear, anxiety, and worry, as we've described. In my recent video, I was telling you about failure not being in your mind. Failure does not enter your conscious. If you have this supreme confidence in yourself, where you can remove the idea of failure altogether and only have lessons, these lessons of things going south are only going to give you data on how to avoid it in the future. And you're going to train your body, really the nervous system, the emotional body, to handle the stresses that come with owning a business, being a business owner, being a boss. Because you are so much more capable than you're giving yourself credit for. Like, you're so much more powerful than you're giving yourself credit for. You're so much more responsible than you're giving yourself credit for. You're so aligned with who you want it to be, that you are that individual, there's just these hindrances, these invisible blocks that are stopping you from experiencing the business success that you want for yourself. And you take this to any other area of your life. And I'm always, well, this is something I'm glad I caught that. I'm always working on things is a belief in of itself. That is a distortion of possibility. You don't need to always work on things. You shouldn't have to always work on things. There should be a moment in your journey where you can be free from all limitations, free from all blocks, and just be as you want to be, period. So that's something that I am working on in developing in myself and getting out of my own way and not thinking to myself that I have to work on something today or tomorrow or a year from now or 2 years from now. There is no problem. There is no thing that I need to work on. I just am what I see in my mind and what I know to be true. And what I know to be true is, again, what I want to experience in this world. So get out of your own way. No one else is against you. It's just the perception, how you are experiencing people. And that experience comes from you, yourself. And it's always so, shocking to experience it for yourself when you realize this to be true, where this perpetual loop of placing like the characteristics and personalities onto people, even though they're not in your present life or your situation. And then you find the physical evidence to support those characteristics and traits of those people because of how they treat you. But when you gain awareness around this and you stop giving them those traits and that personality, you experience people differently. You loosen up, you lighten up. In the case of business, you experience workers in a better way. You also can catch, and this is the biggest lesson I had in my business career this year, is when you see someone's actions for what they are, cut it out immediately, because it's not your obligation to shake this person to get them to change. That is up to them. You still can change the way in which you experience them, but when it comes to your business, it's not worth bringing that into your client's life. So let them go. And that's, the last part would be, if you have this continuous issue of people beating you down and giving you problems, just get rid of them. Because you also shouldn't have to spend time seeing them in a different light, experiencing them in a different way. Just get rid of them. Even if they're your close friends and you have memories with them and good times with them, if you're leveling your life up and building this business as you are, and they're bringing you down, you got to get rid of them. And it's not because you're superior and they're inferior. You guys are just on different frequencies. You guys are different realities, man. That is okay. It's okay to let people go. And you do that by getting out of your own way and sacrificing these people to get where you want to go. And of course, that's a metaphor that is not literal, to be 100% clear. Life just becomes so much better when you get out of your own way. Stop finding problems, stop finding issues, stop keeping things in your life that are not serving you and opening yourself up to things that do serve you, that do improve your life, that do make a difference in your life. And things sometimes take a lot of time, and that's okay. You don't need to rush. You don't need to make things happen instantaneously, because if you're trying to make things happen instantaneously, it's probably because you're in a situation where there's high demand for money for a certain reason or to relieve a certain situation when you really just need to deal with it. You understand that sometimes there's urgency for things, but you can't rush a tree growing into a full-grown tree in a year. That shit takes time. So give it time. It's going to be okay. Get out of your own way.